Taking a luxury safari to Kruger National Park in South Africa was very high on our bucket list. It's been there since we were children, so we wanted to get it right, not cut corners, and have a spectacular experience seeing wildlife in their natural habitat. In the end, we did exactly that. We spent a week in Kruger and added a week-long trip to Victoria Falls, 2 action-packed weeks.
One of the biggest misconceptions in planning an African safari is that you need to book through a tour operator to get the best experience. While we aren't opposed to this plan, we just believed that we could book a great safari if we could figure out all the steps. Today we're going to tell you how we did it, cutting out the middleman, creating a bucket list worthy trip with flexibility to do what we wanted to do when we wanted to do it, all the while saving thousands of dollars.
We're going to show you all of our choices and share all of our costs. So while it may sound a bit complicated on the surface, it is not. Trust us when we tell you that if we can do it, so can you. So let's get started.
We're John and Bev, and we are the Retirement Travelers.
If you're just finding us, we are full-time senior travel bloggers, and we have created a companion travel guide to this video on our website, retirementtravelers.com. We will leave a link to this guide in our description. We've included all the information we talk about today, so after the video, click on the link to read our guide. While you're on our site, be sure to sign up for our newsletter.
And if you're wondering where we are when we travel, we keep our Instagram updated to our current location, so go there and follow along with us. This week we will reach our goal of visiting 100 countries, and we're looking forward to this travel milestone.
First, let us say, as we've said many times, we are not budget travelers, but rather bargain travelers. We are always on the hunt for great experiences for less. We like a luxury experience, but we want to know we are spending our money where it matters.
Visiting Africa for safari is not budget friendly, no matter how you go about it, but since it's truly one of those most fabulous bucket list experiences, we wanted to do it in style for a lot less.
Now, a lot of people began their South African travels in Cape Town, and that is what we did. We spent a month there, and we think it's one of the most beautiful cities in the world. So if you were fortunate enough to add this stop to your itinerary, go for it.
Another item to note is that if you're doing a safari in Kruger National Park, you should consider adding a visit to Victoria Falls. The falls are located on the border of Zimbabwe, where we stayed, and Zambia. It's an easy flight from Johannesburg, and many tour companies include this side trip when planning a safari for you. But this, like our safari, was easy to plan without using a tour operator.
In fact, we feel we had a better experience by going it alone, and we certainly saved a lot of money by booking it all direct. We stayed at the Pamara Lodge, which was wonderful in every way. Their link is in our companion article. They helped us arrange a safari on land and water to Botswana to visit Chobe National Park, a sunset dinner cruise on the Zambezi River, and also a traditional dinner at the local restaurant Dusty Road Township Experience. The owners of Pamara were helpful, and we highly recommended their lodge. While at Pamara, we met some fellow independent travelers, Michael and Bernadette, who joined us on our visit to the falls, and we will always remember our day spent with them and cherish the memory.
So there are a few things you need to know about booking a safari experience on your own in Kruger National Park. We're sure we're going to get plenty of naysayer travel agents who will say that by not using a tour operator or a travel agent to book, you're foregoing experts who know what they're doing. Now, we're not saying that isn't true, but for us, this experience was just one more example where it is possible to do it yourself. We like traveling independently, and this was a great way for us to save a ton of money.
The next thing that you should know is that there are self-driving opportunities by renting a car, staying in low-cost homestays or motels, but we didn't want this experience. We wanted a luxury experience, great food, and game drives that we didn't have to organize ourselves.
The next thing you need to know when booking a place is that some lodges are located within a fenced complex, which they sometimes call a reserve. Now, sometimes these are very high end, but they're not always open to the national park, and the game drives stay within this fenced in area. The animals are predictable, but they aren't free to leave and live their lives as you would expect when coming to a safari. We wanted to see animals in their natural habitat and not fenced in like they were, in a zoo. Our stay was in a reserve, but it was not fenced in and it was open to Kruger National Park.
The first logistical issue we faced was figuring out how to get to the park. Kruger is a massive area of 7,500 square miles. This is the equivalent of the state of New Jersey. There are 3 airports that service the park, and once you pick a location to stay, you must turn around and figure out how to get to it.
We flew direct from Cape Town to Hoedspruit on Airlink. We should add that choosing good airlines is always a hard decision no matter where you travel, because many countries have regional carriers that just as a foreigner you just don't know much about. We did some research and went with Airlink. It helped that they flew direct to this airport from Cape Town, but we didn't have any experience with them before our trip.
Well, this airline turned out to be one of our favorite regional carriers we've ever encountered. They have a history of being on time, and their customer service was outstanding. The jet planes were top-notch and offered more legroom in economy than we usually get in the States. When booking your safari, don't hesitate to use them. The cost of our flight from Cape Town to Hoedspruit was $175 each.
The airport in Hoedspruit is very small, but big enough to land jet airplanes. We thought our Airlink flight might be a propeller plane, but it was a jet. This airport handles a lot of passengers, and while it's small by our standards, the only real difference was the conveyor belt that handles your luggage. Now, it was non-existent. The bags were placed on a wooden platform and you just walked up and grabbed them.
The next decision we had to make was how to get to the camp we booked. We chose to use Honeyguide Tented Safari Mantobeni Camp, and it was located about an hour from the airport. We reached out to the lodge and they arranged for us to be picked up at the airport using a local transport. We paid $150 for the round-trip journey, and we thought this was incredibly reasonable given that they had such great vehicles and such a nice driver. We saw so many animals that I teased him that he should call his company Safari from the Airport. He just laughed.
Now, our camp was in the Manuletti Private Game Reserve, and it wasn't fenced in, and it was adjacent and open to Kruger National Park. So when walking around, we had to be very mindful of the animals. No runs in the evening for me. Now, we only saw antelope, elephants, and monkeys in the camp, but it was possible to see others, so we kept a lookout when walking to and from the lodge. One of the best parts of this camp was the elephants. They frequented the swimming pool, and there was an overflow area where they could come and get a drink every day. They did this, and it was a highlight for everyone staying there. It was one of the reasons we booked this camp.
Honeyguide has 15 tents, and each tent is located a short distance from the main building or lodge. The lodge is where you come for all 3 meals. We sat at the same table each time, and the people we ate with were the people we shared the game drive Jeep with. So we had an opportunity to get to know everyone.
Now, the food was outstanding, and we ordered from a menu at each meal. We were usually given a couple of options for lunch and dinner and several for breakfast. The kitchen staff was wonderful, and the meals were all included in our cost. We'll also add that they do have internet at the lodge, and we didn't have any in our tent, but the seating area up there was beautiful and open to the outside, so we didn't mind sitting at the lodge and watching the elephants and monkeys.
Our tent was very nice, much nicer than we imagined. This was a very sturdy, permanent tent with a bathroom and shower. The bed had a mosquito net, but while we were there in April, we didn't see any mosquitoes. We believe April is the perfect time for this experience. It wasn't hot, and we slept very comfortably.
Now let us add here, we took malaria medication, but we aren't really sure it was necessary. We like to be proactive with our health, and since we were going to Victoria Falls in Botswana, we thought we'd go ahead and take it. Now we've been asked if we had any side effects, and we did not.
One of the features of this camp is that they included 2 game drives each day. Because we were there for a week, we skipped some of them, and if we had to do it again, we'd probably just stay for 4 nights and not 7. 7 nights gave us 14 game drives, so we skipped them if we anticipated a lot of rain.
The game drives took place from 6 to 9 each morning and again from 4 to 7 in the evening. They were always to different places, and our driver made every attempt to get us into the areas where the animals had been spotted. We stopped for coffee or snacks each time, and we saw the most amazing sunrises and sunsets. We were very surprised that we only saw at the most probably 8 to 10 other Jeeps on these long drives. With over 124 miles of roads to drive in the 88 square mile area, it was never crowded.
The reserve is a big 5 game area with over 300 species of birds. We were able to see 4 of the 5. The leopard was a little shy while we were there, but we had just seen one on our Sri Lanka trip, so we were okay with that. Of course, there is no guarantee of what you will see, but overall we saw lots of animals. Within this 88 square mile reserve, there are 5 lodges in total, so it was not crowded like other reserves adjacent.
Game drives was something that we assumed we could only get through a tour operator, but the truth is that game drives are done by the camp or the lodge, not the tour operator. This experience comes with the cost of your stay, so to us, this was an important distinction that we realized. Tour operators have no control over your drives or which animals you see or where you go other than picking a lodge. The lodge knows the area, and while many tours we take around the world are done by a tour operator, game drives are not. Even if you book through the operator, it is not guaranteed that they will accompany you on these drives.
We will leave a link for this lodge, Honeyguide Tented Safari, in our companion guide. We ended up paying about $500 a night for 2, and we thought this was well worth the cost for this luxury experience. If you have any questions, leave a comment below and we will try to answer them. Also, don't forget to add a trip to Victoria Falls to round out your African experience. If this guide has helped you, please hit subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Be sure to hit subscribe and follow along on our retirement journey around the world.